NFL Championship Special. From the very first game, Dorsey Levens proved that he belonged as the Packers' featured running back, ending the season just 39 yards shy of Jim Taylor's all-time Packer record. And last week, he broke the Packers' playoff rushing record with the man he replaced, Edgar Bennett. Fox's Pam Oliver has more.
Dorsey Levens knows the meaning of making something happen. He hasn't looked back since Edgar Bennett blew an Achilles tendon in preseason, and he became the featured runner. It's a moment he remembers well.
I basically panicked. My heart just started racing. I was like, well, this is what I wanted, so here it comes. I mean, I didn't want it that way. You know, I didn't want to see Edgar get hurt, but I pretty much panicked right there on the sideline.
The only question I had going into the season was whether his durability. I knew he was talented and really a good player. Now, could he last being the guy all season long?
He answers that one.
Oh, no, he's done a wonderful job. He really had a great year.
Out of nowhere, this fourth-year player went from third down back to team record setter to Pro Bowler. He just missed Jim Taylor's 35-year-old single-season rushing mark, but Levens wasn't exactly heartbroken.
You know, it really wasn't that important to me because my goal was only 1,000 yards. That was 474 yards past my original goal, so I wasn't really stressed about it.
I didn't think anyone would rush for 1,400 yards in this offense. It's just not an offense built for that.
Nope. The Packers' West Coast offense is powered by passing. But slowly, very slowly, the run game gained favor with Holmgren, and as a result, helped Levens gain fame.
You know, I've been accused of, as you know, not wanting to run the ball.
In the past, if the running game was struggling a little bit, it was over.
This year, when things were sputtering a little bit, I would stay with it longer.
It feels good that he has that much confidence in me to stick with the running game, because in the past he hasn't done it.
We were getting the best of both worlds, which definitely made our offense very unpredictable and more balanced.
For his contribution to that balance, Levens is about to be made rich. He's a free agent next month and lists his home team as his first choice.
My biggest fear is that Green Bay won't try to compensate me like another team will, and I'll be forced to go someplace else. But you know, I really try not to worry about it.
You know, he seized the moment. He stepped forward and produced. Now it's up to us. Now we have to step forward.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
Ron Wolf and the Packers are looking for that man there, Dorsey Levens, to lead them against the Niners today. Mike Holmgren, 3-0 against his old teammate, the 49ers. As we come back inside, Howie, I got to believe, given the upside of Dorsey Levens, is it a no-brainer that he's going to be back?
Yeah, they have to sign Dorsey Levens. This team became a dominant football team last year when they established their running game. Dorsey Levens done an outstanding job. They might have to put the franchise tag on. A big key for them to running the ball today is controlling those two defensive tackles from the San Francisco 49ers with their interior three. Aaron Taylor is banged up. They don't know if he'll be able to finish the game. Dellenbach might have to come in for him. Look for the Pack to go two tight ends and go Tyrone Davis up the middle, deep, versus this secondary for the San Francisco 49ers, who gave up some deep ball to the tight end last week.
Well, Howard, I can tell you this right now. Fritz Schumer has his work cut out for him. He's got to take away the passing lanes. That's the one thing that he does an excellent job against the 49ers, is taking away the passing lanes. Another thing, they got to tackle. If they don't tackle, they will have a tough time beating the 49ers, Terry.
Green Bay, Reggie White has to stand up. He did not have a good game last week. Gilbert Brown at tackle. I wouldn't play him all four quarters, and Fritz Schumer, the defensive coordinator, said he's going to play him for all four quarters. He got tired, injured an ankle last week. If he's in there, there's no running up the middle. Green Bay, on this football game, this is a game, I think, where they have to take advantage and go downtown, just like you're saying, Howard. Throw the football deep.
All right, TB, as we continue on this Fox NFC Championship special, up next, it'll be Ronnie Lott talking with 49er Steve Young. Young's season got off to an inauspicious start, stumbling out the gate, if you will. But lately, things have been going along just fine.
It's the best time right now. And in some ways, I'm playing some of my best football. It's a nice feeling.
The Niners have relied on the youthful receiving core of Terrell Owens and J.J. Stokes. Last week, Stokes stepped up big, posting the Niners' first 100-yard game of the season. Back with more after this.
Out of the blue, Upjohn invites me to help him test the new road game. Okay. I hated this spot. I said yes. This new Rogaine Extra Strength for Men is more concentrated. It gets more to the root to grow more hair. 2 months in, it's working. My wife's saying something's happening, but maybe I'm just lucky. What about the other guys? Listen to this. 45% more hair than with original Rogaine. 45% more hair with the new Rogaine. It's the, ultimate spot remover.
Never felt like this until I kissed you, I kissed you, I kissed you, I kissed you. How did I exist until I kissed you, kissed you, kissed you? Never had you on my
When you find the one that's unlike any other, that's when it's love. That's when it's Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. I kissed you.
Next Sunday, the NHL on Fox returns with the 48th All-Star Game. In an Olympic preview, Canada's Gretzky and America's LeClaire unite to lead Team North America against the world. Coverage begins next Sunday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
The new 1998 Value City Furniture is now here. Unfortunately, so is the new 97. Something's got to give. All right, you win. Announcing the Value City Furniture Emergency Markdown Sale. You'll find some of the lowest prices of the year on all the great home furnishings you want. So you won't need much money. Just a little something you've tucked away for emergencies. And this is an emergency.
Cracker Barrel cheddar. Tastes so perfectly sharp. Everything else seems dull.
Come on back downtown. The Pearl Street Grill and Brewery is waiting. Buffalo's newest brew pub features an eclectic menu of fine foods, meal-size appetizers, exciting salads, hearty sandwiches, fresh seafood, uncommon dinner specials, desserts baked on premises, and exceptional wine list. And oh yes, distinctive beers brewed on premises the old-fashioned way. Pearl Street Grill and Brewery at the corner of Pearl and Seneca in downtown Buffalo. Come, sample our wares. This is Fox 29, WUTV, Buffalo.
There will be a packed house here at 3Com Park at Candlestick. Rain is expected in the forecast. The temperature 54 degrees, some 47 degrees difference than what exists in Green Bay today, as we welcome you back to our remote studio here in San Francisco. And Ronnie, I think about the career of Steve Young, boy, it's been littered with trials and tribulations.
That's right, JB. You know, Steve Young was down and out, but this year, talking to his mom says, look, you should retire, son. But you know, Steve says, I can't, Mom. Look, I got to get it to the Super Bowl, and now he's only one game from it.
A lot of questions for the Niners, and here we go from Tampa, Florida. It's Young being chased by Sam. One time. Could be injured, too. Quarterback could be injured, Kevin. They've lost Young, and they can't lose Rice.
Now Jerry goes down, you get hurt. What'd you think?
I wasn't sure. I was kind of wondering. I wonder how we're going to pull this off. And I think what happened was immediately the defense stood up and said, we'll strangle whoever we need to strangle. You guys get yourselves together. Our learning curve throughout the season was pretty steep. I mean, we were not like just riding the wave. I mean, we were pushing hard.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Carolina Panthers football. Panthers have won 3 of 4 meetings against San Francisco.
And we played probably one of our better games of the early season. I think that established ourselves to ourselves. And you know in football, it doesn't really matter what anyone else is saying. It's what do you really believe in your head? We stood up and started to jog at that point.
And here in Kansas City, we're seeing 2 of the elite teams in the NFL.
The Kansas City Chiefs are taking it to the 49ers, and they're taking it to their defensive line.
Now you're jogging. Matter of fact, you got a nice stride going. You're going up against Kansas City. What did you learn from that?
Kind of perfect timing in a way, because we were starting to think we were really good, you know?
So
yeah. And so
you were backpedaling.
Right, I was like, So getting punched in the mouth, I think, sometimes is the most important thing that can happen in a season.
This is what these 49er fans are used to, explosive offensive football.
What I was most excited about is throwing him the football and having him come back and say, give it to me again. I'm open, give it to me again. As a quarterback, that's a challenge you want to face.
And with that, it seems to me that you even brought out your best dance moves too, huh?
trying to bridge the generations.
You've been around Mike Holmgren, you've been around Steve Mariucci, you've been around Brett Favre. When you look at that side of the field, do you see yourself?
You see, it's a family thing. You know, I really sense that the relationships are very close, and it's like being in the backyard and you and your brother are blooding each other's nose. You know, no one else can fool with you because it's in the family. But within the family, it can get pretty heated and competitive. And I sense that it's kind of like I know you, I respect you, I've had a lot of relationships with you. You've taught me a lot about football, and it kind of goes back and forth that way. And now it's time to just play.
Yeah, now it's time to get busy, but I think one of the things that you'll see today is they're going to attack Tyrone Williams, the Green Bay cornerback. They want to go over the top. And another thing, Dana Stubblefield has to step up. One of the things that they talked about, they haven't seen Dana Stubblefield. They want to see him wreak havoc today.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Those two defensive tackles are a big key for the 49ers. They have to stop the run with their front seven, which will allow their safeties to help their corners over the top. They're going to stagger their defensive tackles based on formation. Split backs, they'll crowd the ball. I formation, they'll be back off in a read position. Look for the 49ers to attack the defensive ends from the Green Bay Packers in the first half. Wear them down, and in the second half, attack the interior. Look for Gilbert Brown to see plenty of folks around his legs today.
Yeah, this is a football game. You look at the 49ers, they are a trapping football team. They pull their guards and block down, and you trap Gilbert Brown early, go after his legs, which you can do. Automatically, he fights people off and he doesn't move. But the 49ers will try to run. Kirby with 100 yards rushing. They have a running game. Young throws a nice catchable ball. And in playoff games, in championship games, when you have a muddy field and a wet ball, the quarterback that can handle the ball the best is the one that wins. I like to throw the football in wet conditions. I have the advantage.
Both quarterbacks good wet ball throwers?
Both excellent. Favre throws it harder, which makes it harder to catch.
Steve Young has handled playoff pressure quite nicely. Last 7 playoff games, 20 touchdowns and only 2 picks. All right, folks, a lot more coming your way in today's show. Take a look at Rod Woodson, who came to the 49ers this season with the hopes of winning his first Super Bowl ring. He's been a welcome addition to the league's top-ranked defense, and the Niners now are just 1 game away from that title shot. Back here with more after this.
Горбачев, из-за него мы на краю экономической пропасти.
Да благодаря ему у нас свобода.
Из-за него мы на краю политического хаоса.
Благодаря ему мы теперь свободны. И можем дойти до края этой пиццы.
The Edge Pizza from Pizza Hut with no outer crust, so the toppings go all the way to the edge.
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева! За Горбачева!
Almost everyone's been to the edge. Have you?
What the hell was that?
It's a cruise ship.
On January 30th, it's like everyone just vanished. The ocean's greatest mystery
There's something down here.
will come to the surface.
I vote we leave. Who votes we leave?
Deep Rising. Rated R. Starts Friday, January 30th.
The new Porsche Boxster is assembled at Zuffenhausen, Germany. Much the same way our original roadsters, the Spiders, were assembled. By human hands. Makes you wonder who builds other sports cars. The Boxster. Once again, there is no substitute.
Honey, we won.
Huh?
A Sony Home Entertainment Center, a Lazy Boy recliner, and $500 for a party.
Snickers is giving away the living room of your dreams.
Ah.
Or nightmares.
What'd we win?
Oh, nothing.
Snickers. Why wait? Win something.
What's your night?
Tonight, look who's joining the carnival.
You gonna get drunk and start a lot of trouble? Sure, anything you want.
On a brand new Simpsons. Then Troy Aikman joins the Super Bowl bash.
Boomhauer's dip was so thick our chips were snapping like Joe Theismann's leg.
On a brand new King of the Hill. And a series of unexplained deaths.
I came out of his stomach.
Lead to a terrifying revelation. The X-Files, an all-new episode. It all starts tonight at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Packers are walking the walk, hoping that this is, in fact, a championship walk as they get set to take on the San Francisco 49ers in the 49ers' home park here at 3Com at Candlestick. As we get set now for final thoughts, to start first with Ronnie.
That's right, JB. Steve Young's roommate, Brent Jones, took shots to his calf muscle. Now, he will play. Another thing, they told me that William Floyd has been setting the tone all week. He's been punishing guys in the blocking. Look for him to be the key in the running game.
San Francisco 49ers have scored 3 TDs on 73 possessions on drives of 40 yards or more versus teams outside of the NFC West. It'll be interesting to see today. The success of the 49ers could well rest on the shoulders of Steve Young's arm and his legs today, Terry.
Yeah, don't forget the last time San Francisco played their old nemesis, the Dallas Cowboys, right here in the championship game. 21 points right off the bat off a Cowboy turnover. This football team averages 9 points a game. 37% of their scoring is off of turnovers, and they love a short field. Today, will Green Bay make them have to drive 80 yards? And which coach panics and gets out of his offensive system earliest?
Well, we've said it all show long. This is the game that everyone was waiting for, and the 49ers have geared on this game for 1 full year. When we come back to 3Com Park, I'll send it upstairs to Pat Summerall and John Madden as we'll get set for the NFC Championship game in a moment.
You're watching the NFC Championship on Fox.
The new 1998 Value City furniture is now here. Unfortunately, so is the new 97. Something's got to give. All right, you win. Announcing the Value City Furniture Emergency Markdown Sale. You'll find some of the lowest prices of the year on all the great home furnishings you want. So you won't need much money. Just a little something you've tucked away for emergencies. And this is an emergency.
Watch for the signs of great comedy. Slippery when wet. You need to take a soak.
I'm not taking a soak in that human bacteria frap you got going there.
Children at play.
You threw a banana peel at a monkey? Well, he started it.
Blind curve.
Would you rather date the blind or the deaf?
The blind. Good-looking blind woman doesn't really know that you're not good enough for her.
I think she figured out something.
Seinfeld, tonight at 10 on Fox 29.
An unusual house call.
It's a sexual problem.
A compromising position.
You can walk in at any time.
Come on, he'll kill us.
Doctor's orders.
Might like to put your dress back on and straighten up before he gets home.
Hey, Suze, open up.
The party's over.
Why don't you turn up the light?
On Frasier.
Monday at 10:30 on Fox 29. You're watching Fox 29, WUTV, Buffalo.
Time now for the Ericsson countdown to kickoff. And up next, it's the battle we've all been waiting for as the defending champion Green Bay Packers take on the San Francisco 49ers. Pat Summerall and John Madden are ready to bring you all the action. Let's send you upstairs to the gentlemen.
There is nothing more glorious in an athlete's career than being crowned a champion. It fulfills dreams and expectations as traditions grow continually more revered. Destiny is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. Today's winner is one victory closer to their own private destiny. Under head coach Steve Mariucci's spirited guidance, the 49ers have returned to championship form. The task today is to erase the painful memories inflicted by Green Bay the last 2 seasons. The defending champions seem to be peaking at the right time and hope to continue their mastery over the Niners. The day of reckoning has come, and a berth in Super Bowl 32 is at stake. It is a gray, misty, overcast, and dripping rain day at 3Com Park in San Francisco as the Packers and the 49ers square off in the NFC Championship game. The winner will play the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl number 32. This is as loud as I have ever heard this ballpark. The fans are into it. They've been criticized for not being involved, but believe me, for this, the finale, they're involved.
And you can just feel it. I mean, this is the greatest feeling in the world. If you're a coach, this is why you coach, to get to these games. If you're a player, this is why you play, to get to these games. And everyone knows that this is it. This is a game. You win this one today, and you go on and you play in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and it can't get any bigger than that.
It really can't, John. And back in the beginning of the year, everyone said that these are the 2 best teams in the NFC. Now they're going to meet in the championship game. Let's talk about the defending world champions first, the Packers. How do they approach this one?
Now, I think they just have to play Packer football. I do feel that they are peaking right now. And as Mike Holmgren says, we have to control the line of scrimmage. I don't want Brett Favre throwing 50 passes today. We have to be able to run the ball, get first downs, keep them off the field. And then, of course, you know that Brett Favre is going to do his thing. Now, on defense, you talk to Fritz Sherman, their defensive coordinator, and he talks about one thing. There's one guy that worries him. There's one guy that they feel can beat him, and that's Steve Young.
Now, the 49ers will get Garrison Hurst back. He's been out with a broken collarbone. Brent Jones was hurt in practice on Friday. He's going to try to play. We'll just have to wait and see how much he plays. But now, with that in mind, John, how about the 49ers?
Well, the first thing they know that they have to eliminate turnovers. In the last 2 times that they've been beaten in the playoffs by the Green Bay Packers, they've had 9 turnovers. So you start off with that and they say, okay, no more turnovers. You know, we're done with that. We know how to do that. We don't want to do that anymore. And they have Garrison Hurst, so they want to be able to run the ball. And I still think that Steve Young has to have a big game. And Steve Mariucci says, I got to cut him loose now. We kept him under wraps all season, but now is the time that we don't keep him under wraps anymore. Then, of course, on defense, they feel that they have to stop the run. And then anytime you play against Brett Favre, you better stay with those receivers because he's the best player in the National Football League.
And he'll be dangerous today again. Ron Pitts is with us, as he has been throughout the playoffs, and we'll be back in a moment and throw it down to Ron Pitts.
It is 180 degrees from expected. It is a leather-trimmed interior. And now, it ties as J.D. Power & Associates' most appealing minivan, the new Chrysler Town & Country LXI. Built on the belief that great cars appeal to a more passionate side. And now, it's available with $1,000 cash back or a very special low lease rate. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
We're back at Ericsson Stadium where we're down to the final seconds of the game and it's still tied. The kick's high.
Ericsson mobile phones. Catch the excitement.
And it's time for the Ericsson Countdown.
Welcome back to San Francisco. You know, you look at the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers, you see that they have a lot in common between coaches and players. Holmgren coached out here. He coached Steve Young. Steve Mariucci, the quarterback's coach back in Green Bay, he coached Brett Favre. But ever since Mike Holmgren took the West Coast offense back to Green Bay and had success, this thing has turned into a huge, heated rivalry. This week, Mike Holmgren, he came out and said, I love Steve Young like the son I never had, but if he leaves the pocket, I got to pound on him and punish him. Now, Brett Favre said to Steve Mariucci's wife, Gail, he said, I love you, I love the kids, I'll babysit at any time, but on Sunday, we got to kick your husband's tail. This is 2 teams They are both very good offensively, the same type of systems, very good quarterbacks. They both have that Super Bowl strut. But like they say in the NFL, if you don't have the ring, it don't mean a thing. Pat, let's go back up to you and see who's going to get another shot at the ring.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. The Packers are 5-3 on the road. The 49ers have yet to be beaten here at 3Com Park. Brett Favre will rest as the 49ers have won the toss, and they send Chuck Levy back for Ryan Longwell's kick.
I'll tell you, Pat, this wind is really a factor here today, and I was watching the pregame warm-ups, the kickers and the footballs going in the air, and there were some ugly-looking sights.
And I was down on the field, John, before the game, and there's some ugly-looking spots on this field as well.
So we may see a great football game played in some ugly conditions.
Longwell's kick hangs up at the 2 to Chuck Levy. Levy breaks out of the pack on the opening kickoff. Longwell. And there was a flag, I believe, on the play on the far side of the field. Mike Pryor made the stop as he and Longwell were the only two men to beat. Going to be against the 49ers, an illegal block in the back, as there usually seems to be. Levy almost broke the opening kickoff.
Illegal block in the back on return, number 28. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Illegal block called against Curtis Buckley, and it moves the 49ers back into that soggy part of the field.
You know, and I think in any big game, I always felt that I would rather lose the toss and start on defense than start on offense. I think that, you know, your offense all has to work together. They're a little shaky earlier. Defense is just react and go after them. Get old big Gilbert Brown right there going.
On first down, it's Hurst. No gain. Let's have a look at the San Francisco offense. Two-time NFL most valuable player, 1992 and 94. Steve Young, as John Madden was talking about, the key for the 49ers. He's the quarterback. Deese Brown, Dahlman, Gogan, and Sprafford in front of him. Garrison, Hurst, William Floyd, the two backs. Stokes and Terrell Owens wide, and Greg Clark starts at tight end in place of Brent Jones. Young gives to Hurst. Cut down at about the 11 by Reggie White. Here is the Green Bay defense. A little porous during the middle of the year, but playing better. Gabe Wilkins, there was doubt about whether he'd be able to play or not. Gilbert Brown, Santana Dotson, and Reggie White. Brian Williams, Bernardo Harris in the middle, and Seth Joyner, the linebackers. Evans and Williams, the corners. Robinson and Butler, the safeties. Brent Jones lines up wide right, 3rd and 7. Young to throw it. Pass to Stokes. Got him a first. Tyrone Williams brought him down.
That's what they do. The 49ers line up in a look that looks like 4 wide receivers, but one of those wide receivers is Brent Jones. J.J. Stokes was the outside guy, and he's just going to run a slant. You see, you got a guy here, here. These are the 4 right here, and here's the slant. You just come right here, get right inside, and hit that ball right there. See, here it is with a closer look. You see, once you get inside right there, Steve Young knows that he has a first down.
49ers put Owens in motion. Young outside. Owens gets away from 1. Picks up about 4. Both the 49er receivers are big, tall, strong guys.
Yeah, and, you know, that's one of the things the 49ers have been trying to do for years. You know, move their wide receiver along. Of course, that started with the great Jerry Rice. You know, you don't just leave a wide receiver out right or left. You bring them in tight. You put them in motion. You put them in the backfield. And that's exactly what they did on that play with Terrell Owens.
2nd and 5 for the 49ers. Opening drive, and the rain comes just a little bit harder. Packers show blitz. No flag. That's Hurst. Short of the first.
You know, it's interesting, Pat, that the 49ers script their offense, so the Green Bay Packers are going to script their defense. So Fritz Shurmur is just rolling them. He's just running guys in and out. In fact, on that one there, they were in what they call their 3-3 nickel. And that's where Seth Joyner, instead of being a linebacker, he lines up over a guard, and he becomes a pass rusher. So
3rd and 2 now.
I was just saying, Fritz Shurmur says, if you're going to script, I'm going to script, so at the end of your scripting, you won't know what you're going to get anyway.
Again, 3 wide receivers. Extra defensive backs for the Pack. Owens underneath gets another 49 first down. From wide, he cut underneath Brett Jones.
Steve Young really does look calm. You know, both of these guys, Brett Favre and Steve Young, are great competitors, and they tend to be towards the hyper side. And but Steve Young isn't starting out playing hyper.
No.
His first drive looks very calm.
Different kind of hyper.
But he has good pass protection too.
First down, San Francisco. Young keeps it, drops it out to Greg Clark. Clark gets across midfield. Stopped finally by Seth Joyner.
That's why you have to be able to run a little, because then you can run the bootleg, and that's what Steve Young is the best at. What you do is you get both backs going this way. Steve Young makes that fake, then comes out here on the bootleg. Now, if you react to the backs going this way, watch when the back comes this way, on the fake there, and you get the lineman pulling, then the Packers all get caught that way, and then he can come out and hit his tight end, Greg Clark.
Both guards came out in the opposite direction.
I know, and it's hard for a defensive lineman when you see the back go that way and both linemen going that way. It's hard for you not to go that way.
Young to Hurst, lost a yard. Had a problem with the exchange early.
And they have a problem with that 8th man up, too. You know, anytime that you start to run, you're going to get a strong safety up there. You're going to get Leroy Butler up there. Now watch where Leroy Butler is, and this is a run blitz. It looks like he knows what the play is.
Yep.
He blitzes right into the hole that Garrison Hurst is running in. That's the old 8-man up, and when that 8-man up is like Leroy Butler, he's as good as most linebackers when they're in that hole.
2nd and 12. San Francisco at their own 47. Hurst goes in motion this time, and now he comes back. Stays in the block. Screen pass coming to Hurst. And the Packers had it red. Santana Dotson.
Really, defensive linemen are really getting good at reading screen passes. And more teams are running screen passes. And I bet you it just seems like watching them this year that 3/4 of them don't work. I think that linemen feel if the quarterback is going to get rid of the ball quickly. Now watch Santana Dotson here. He just stops rushing. He feels that guard. Ray Brown goes out. He sees Garrison Hurst go out, so he just stops. It used to be guys would just rush right towards a quarterback and he'd throw that screen. Now they see it or feel it and they go to the screen.
3-man front, but Seth Joyner gets down and he's going to rush, and now a flag.
This is what Fritz Shurmur calls his 3-3 dime.
False start. Offense prior to the snap, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Owens jumped.
Yeah, he's right here, and he's the guy that should never jump. I mean, there's no excuse for that. I mean, he can look in. He doesn't have to hear the count. He can look in at the ball and watch the ball being snapped, especially when the corner's way off him like that.
3rd and 24. Here comes Joyner rushing. But Young has time and throws to Owens, who has it. Not quite enough for the first down, about 2 or 3 yards short.
Mullen was right out there, and he was playing off him. And when you get that big a cushion, watch Roderick Mullen here. He's playing back, and now as he starts to drive off, he drives him back. He gets his shoulders turned, and then Owens can make that move to the sideline. Had Owens taken about 3 more steps, though, before he made that move and knew where that first down stick was, the 49ers wouldn't have to be punting in this situation because Steve Young did have plenty of time.
Robert Brooks and Mike Pryor back deep for Green Bay, and Tommy Thompson will punt it. Low kick, slid off the side of his foot and takes a football bounce. A crazy one.
I told you the kicking was ugly in the pregame.
It sure was. And it still is.
This first quarter is brought to you by GMC. 365 days a year.
GMC Sierra owners don't work on weekends. They practice. Vortec-powered Sierra, 365 days a year.
Caller 42, you've got Santa.
Yeah, I asked for a new rug, and I got a toupee. That's not very funny.
I thought it was thoughtful.
It's the final week of Leon's Boxing Day sale with store-wide savings on what you really wanted for Christmas. It's the biggest event of the year with everything to gain and nothing to pay till $19.99.
And maybe next year Santa will bring you a nose hair trimmer.
Hurry in. Leon's Boxing Day sale ends this weekend.
I'm not late. I'm right on time. It happened so fast. I knew I'd get here because I had help. And I'm ready to start something new. It's the last day of school.
We take the time to understand what really matters in your life. Investors Group.
A windy, murky day in San Francisco. The NFC Championship, 0-0. The Packers' first possession. The winner to play Denver in the Super Bowl. Quick count. Favre drop. Caught by Brooks. Brooks crosses the 40. Rod Woodson made the stop. Let's look at Green Bay's offense led by three-time most valuable player, 3 in a row, Brett Favre. In front of him, Verba, Taylor, Winters, Timmerman, and Dotson. There was doubt about Taylor, but he started. Levens and Henderson, the two backs. Freeman and Brooks wide, and Mark Shimura, the tight end. Favre throw it again. Brooks again. Incomplete. Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Yep, you know where they're looking. They're looking to Brett Favre's right, and that matchup he has over there is Robert Brooks against Rod Woodson. Threw it on the first down, came right back, and threw it the next time.
Both play passes. Something.
Interference. Defense, number 26.
They can't tag the referee.
You're going to see, here's Rod Woodson right here. Here's Robert Brooks. And you see, he turns Woodson around. And when Woodson gets back, he gets that right hand on that right shoulder while the ball's in the air.
1st and 10, Green Bay at the San Francisco 35. 4 wide receivers set up this time for Green Bay. Favre underneath. Again, Brooks. To about the 26. Let's have a look at the 49er defense. Solid veterans. Dolman, Stubblefield, Young, and Barker up front. Norton, Plummer, and Woodall, the 3 linebackers, all familiar names. Marquez, Pope, Hanks, McDonald, and Rod Woodson. 2nd and 2, Green Bay. They've yet to run it. Levens is deep. Now they have Dorsey, Levens. Pounds it straight ahead. The last 2 postseason meetings, Green Bay has outscored the 49ers 28-0 in the first quarter. Most of that as a result of turnovers, however.
Yeah, that's the area that the 2 areas that the 49ers have had trouble with the Packers have been the special teams plays and then the turnovers. I mean, if you have 9 turnovers in 2 playoff games, you aren't going to win.
You're going to lose them, yeah.
And you just watch the way Green Bay is getting started here. They're really crisp. I mean, they look like they're a little crispier, if that's a word, than the 49ers are.
It is now.
especially their offense against the 49er defense. They're beating them to the punch. They're getting off first.
Favre has gone on a quick count a couple of times.
Yeah, Favre is a master at that. He's become a master at that, at changing up the count. You know, going from the quick count to a long count to a hard count. Really using his count to keep that defensive line from getting a lot of penetration quickly.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers to the right. Brooks and Freeman. The screen pass goes to Levens. Caught from behind by Stubblefield.
You want to see an interesting thing is on the screen pass, one thing that the tackle to the side of the screen, that's going to be Ross Verba here. He has to cut his guy to get his hands down so you can throw the ball over him. Now watch Ross Verba here. He's looking in for the count. But watch how he goes, like he's going to boom. He cuts Chris Dolman right there. That gets him down. Then you can throw that screen pass out there.
And that would have gone for some good yardage had it not been for the effort by Stubblefield. 2nd and 10. Levens. Dorsey Levens to the 20.
Yeah, we talked about Leroy Butler being up there as a strong safety for the Green Bay Packers, and the same thing is true with the 49ers, but it's Tim McDonald. You know, anytime that you're having trouble with your front 4 and linebackers, your front 7, you have to get that strong safety involved. And the strong safety for the 49ers, number 46, Tim McDonald, he's the guy that made that play in that run.
3rd and 6 at the 20. Frank Winters, the offensive center for Green Bay. Fakes 11. Pass to Chamora inside the 10. Should be enough for a first. Is enough for a first.
Again, good pass protection. And you're going to see Chamora right here. He's just coming off. Rod Woodson is playing on him in that nickel. He was playing a zone. He got him a bump. And then Chamora just found that hole in the zone. And, of course, when Brett Favre just needs about 5 or 6 yards and he gets down into that area, I'll guarantee you he's looking for number 89 from Boston College.
1st and goal at the 9. Levens to the 3. Woodall made the stop. Levens hit hard, but he can deliver a blow as well as take one.
Well, he finishes off his runs, especially when they start in the I formation. You're just going to see him. He loves this kind of running. He calls this downhill running. You get in there behind your fullback and you just run right downhill. You don't have to sweep. You don't have to wait for guards to pull or anything. Just get in the I formation and just follow your fullback in there.
And his fullback does a heck of a job, Henderson. Levens again. Jams it to the 1. Plummer on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, this is going to be a heck of a matchup in here. I mean, you have Bryant Young here, Dana Stubblefield here. One of the best tandems of defensive tackles in football, and they are tough to get movement on, and they are tough to run at. I mean, we know that Green Bay is tough to run at with Gilbert Brown, but I think when Bryant Young is playing and healthy and Dana Stubblefield is playing healthy, they're equally as tough to run in the middle line.
3 tight ends for Green Bay. Favre. The pass was deflected.
Oh, the 49ers make a big play by that deflection because William Henderson was wide open in the end zone.
Yes, he was.
Favre saw him. Favre was trying to throw it to him. And if Favre could have gotten there, that's a touchdown. Let's just see. You're going to see that Gary Plummer is the guy that knocks that ball down. But William Henderson, maybe Plummer was supposed to be the guy that was covering William Henderson because there was no one in the end zone on William Henderson.
Ryan Longwell, who was with the 49ers, hits for the Packers and puts them ahead 3-0 from 19 yards out. Green Bay 3, San Francisco 0.
We've just received reports that Fred is heading south and appears to be picking up speed.
Residents are advised to reroute to 18. Anyone in the vicinity.
We've now learned that Fred is within visual range at current speed.
Hey, Fred. Morning, Bob.
The new Pontiac Grand Prix GTP V6 supercharged wide track. Built for drivers.
Contestants, are you ready to take the challenge? All season long, Proline players will compete to shoot for loot. You could win seats in the Reds at a Leafs home game, a chance at up to $1,000 in an on-ice shootout, plus chances to win Maple Leaf merchandise and a trip to a playoff game. Come on, take the challenge. Bet on Proline and have your ticket on hand. Use this number to enter. Call anytime to shoot for loot from Proline.
Field. Where he learned to run. Where we learned his moves. He spins, he jukes.
He's like crazy, you know. Barry used to play flag football. He said if someone can't grab your flag,
there's no way they'll ever be able to tackle you.
He's like a pinball.
This is Barry Sanders Field,
where we learn to play. Football is football no matter where you play.
Closed captioning of NFL football is brought to you by Valvoline Canada. Valvoline is tested on the track for superior performance in your vehicle. People who know use Valvoline.
Here's William Henderson. Watch, he's going to run right by Gary Plummer here and be free in the end zone. I think Plummer was supposed to have him, and then when he gets by Plummer, Plummer just jumps up and knocks the ball down. But watch Henderson here. He's free right here in the end zone. Favre sees him and tries to throw it to him. That would have been a wide-open touchdown if Gary Plummer doesn't touch the ball by just that much.
Brett Favre was right. Just that much. Longwell's kick sends Levy to the goal line. Levy, once you stop on a kickoff return, they're going to gain ground in a hurry. At the 15, the 49ers will take over. The Packers lead it 3-0.
Mr. Cooper's late again, sir.
I hate it when he does that. Pontiac Sunfire GT, built for drivers. One self-made individual. First-hand knowledge. 14 fractures. 3 gut checks. 0 room for error. 1 ultimate stunt. Equals 1 unsung hero. For all you do, this bud's for you.
Hey, kid. Yeah? Get the Super Bowl stuff to San Diego on time. And don't mess it up.
I'm on top of it. I'm on top of the world. Down on creation and the Oh, my God!
Need official Super Bowl merchandise? Go to superbowl.com.
No.
An IBM e-business.
Stay tuned to Global in the third quarter. You could win one of 5 Dodge Ram quad cabs in the Budweiser Super Bowl contest. Get contest cards and cases of Bud.
Green Bay 3, San Francisco 0. These aerial pictures courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle based in Carson, California. Recently, by the way, Goodyear has doubled its blimp fleet to 6, adding 2 in Europe and 1 in South America.
You know, it was interesting when the Packers got here yesterday and they didn't have a place to practice. They went down to Moffett Field and they practiced in Hangar 1. And in Hangar 1, they can put 12 blimps.
It's a big hangar. Owens makes the catch from Young, picks up about 7.
That was an interesting formation. The 49ers came out in that 4 wide receiver look, and they usually do that on longer yardage, but they can see they got a receiver here and here and here and here, and they spread them out and made them play dime on first down. Usually that's a second and long or third down offensive formation.
Young hasn't missed. This is Hurst, and there is nothing there for Garrison Hurst. Brian Williams led the Packer defense.
Yeah, that's one thing about that Packer defense, that they do have speed at linebacker. We know with Brian Williams, he's one of the fastest linebackers in the league, and he's hard to get away from because of the speed. And then the other thing is their defensive secondary are good tacklers. They don't have many guests or any guests back there. They all tackle well.
Four down rushers. Young wheels it outside. It's caught by Hurst, and Hurst knocked out of bounds by Tyrone Williams. And right now, for highlights from today's AFC Championship, let's go down to James Brown for a McDonald's game break.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. The Denver Broncos were trailing 14-10 in the second quarter when John Elway, nice swing pass out to Howard Griffith, better catch. He takes it 16 yards to pay dirt, and the Broncos will now make their 5th trip to the Super Bowl. Back to Pat and John.
Heck of an effort by Denver. Thompson back to punt. Another poor kick. The wind really got this one. The first punt was 19 yards, and this one is a little bit better, but not much.
And the Packers better get away from that. You don't want to be standing around when that ball is flopping around in the ground.
Black John.
It's Jack.
You're a good man, Jack. Buy yourself something frilly.
Casino-rama. We deal excitement. Big time.
Monday, they're the foot soldiers who fight in the trenches of urban reality.
Try to spill the beer? Arrest him.
Keeping the mean streets of Brooklyn in check.
Doesn't it sound like trouble to you?
Brooklyn South. Global's got it Monday at 10. Detective Andy Sipowicz.
Any further thoughts, you ring him up.
Detective Bobby Simone.
You didn't think about calling the cops?
2 Emmy Award-winning Reasons to Catch, NYPD Blue. Global's got it Tuesday at 10.
I will not accept anything less than a perfect quad twisting triple.
I will not accept anything less than 80 miles per hour. I will not accept anything less than a shutout.
I will not accept anything less than 1 minute 17 seconds.
I will not accept any card but Visa.
At the 1998 Olympic Winter Games, only the best is accepted. Visa, worldwide partner of the Nagano Games. Visa, all you need.
This is really great, you helping me out.
No, that's what friends are for.
I would have rented, but you know how that is.
Yeah, right.
So, I'd like new Sierra.
Great. Except ever since I bought it, it seems I'm always helping someone move.
Yeah, well, it's not like I asked you to pack or anything.
Vortec-powered Sierra. 365 days a year.
The first quarter was brought to you by GMC. 365 days a year.
The Green Bay Packers lead the 49ers 3-0. The Packers' second possession. Shimura on the move, and Favre now ready and drops to throw it. Incomplete and no flags this time. Brooks, the intended receiver, covered by Marquez Pope.
You know, if you watch Frank Winters, Pat, he always does something on pass protection that is interesting. Watch him here. If he's going to block to his right, he'll put his left hand out there. So really, he helps both ways. See, now, he has a snap in. Now, watch his left hand go out there. See, that's to help on that gap here. Then he's looking to help on this side. And that's what he does for Bryant Young. But that way, you can help both sides. One with your hand to stop a gap, and the other one with your shoulder.
Favre. Brooks incomplete.
Sometimes he gets caught in the middle, though. I think on that one he did, like the old washing machine. You know, when you get caught in here, watch. Here he's going to be right here, and he's going to start out to put his left hand up to stop that gap. You see the left hand goes out there, and the right hand goes up there, and there he has two guys. He has one on each shoulder, but his job is to not let someone get a run straight up the middle at Brett Favre.
So actually, he did a pretty good job.
I think so for old Bag of Donuts. He always does a pretty good job.
Yes,
he is real cagey in there.
McDonald showing blitz, and Favre called timeout. He saw him coming.
I don't know. Favre probably had to audible and didn't have enough time to audible, so he just called the timeout and said he'll go over and talk to Mike Holmgren about it. But watch McDonald come up. You see, they give a look back here. Now Favre is ready to call the play. Now here's McDonald here. You see, and he's going to sneak up. Now they don't have enough blockers on that side to handle that right side. So if it's a pass, there would be a guy free on pass protection. You see him come into the frame right there. And if it's a run, if they were running to that side, again, there would be an extra guy. So it was probably going to be a bad play with no time to audibilize.
And Brett Favre called a timeout.
Mike Holmgren, you don't think this is a big one for him, trying to repeat as a Super Bowl champion, coming back here to his hometown? He grew up here in San Francisco, went to Lincoln High School, coached at Sacred Heart High School.
Kimura again moves to the right, and Favre drops the throw. Spins it to the inside, and Brooks took it to the outside. It's incomplete. Are they hugging?
Good coverage out there by Marquez Pope. Marquez Pope is a very physical guy. Now that's a look, Pat. That's a look like a fighter in the 12th round of a heavyweight championship fight.
A little bit of grass, a little bit of mud on the helmet.
It looks like a big cut over the left eye. They're trying to hold together with that blue stuff.
Is a good one. Handled by Levy, and Levy is taken down by the Packer cover teams at about the 13. Favre and Kevin Green.
Remember last week, Brett Favre was doing that with Warren Sapp, and Mike Holmgren didn't like it, and he talked to Brett Favre about it. But once the game starts, Brett Favre is the type of guy, he's just going to play. And when someone hits him and knocks him down, it was Bryant Young who really knocked him down, he's going to give him a head slap. And then you know, Kevin Green, he loves to headbutt. In fact, there was one game this year when Kevin Green wasn't suited up. Remember that? He was in street clothes on the 49er sideline. A 49er made a great play, and he gave him a headbutt with his raw head.
Well, he's got a lot of hair.
Yeah, but a headbutt was square in the forehead with nothing there. I mean, when you give a headbutt with a raw head, you have to be a wrestler.
That was Garrison Hurst straight ahead for a couple of yards.
You know, that's the way Brett Favre plays. And I know that, you know, sometimes Mike Holmgren figures that, you know, he gets carried away and he takes it too far. But if you take that away from Brett Favre, then you don't have Brett Favre.
That's the end of the first quarter. Green Bay leading 3-0. Mike Holmgren doesn't look like he has the lead, does he? Only by 3.
Time is running out on the free preview of the new cable package.
It's about time we did.
Well, when I've...
Well, why didn't you do it now?
That's all there is to it. Remember,
You know, I got these in just in time.
You get these channels and more in one package for as low as $5.99 a month. The programs you want, when you want them. To order, call your cable company at this number. The free preview ends soon.
Now on video.
Welcome to Con Air.
Hang on for the ride of your life. Woo! Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, and John Malkovich.
What are you going to do? What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to save the day.
Con Air. Rent it now.
Okay, quiet on the set, please.
All right, a little to the left. No, camera left. Good. Okay, just a little more. Oh, I'm loving it. Okay, let's do it.
Roll camera. Mark it.
McDonald's bacon double cheeseburger, take 16.
Where's the burger? Not again. Where is the...
Right now, get a bacon double cheeseburger for only 89 cents when you buy any drink and fries at McDonald's.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
At 89 cents, they're moving quick.
Just give me 5 minutes. These days, you have to make the most of your time out. That's why Cadbury created Time Out, the new wafer snack with a delicious chocolatey wave.
Make your break a Time Out.
Tonight on an all-new X-Files, Mulder and Scully investigate a series of bizarre deaths, but even more incredible is the way this one ends. Don't miss an all-new episode of The X-Files tonight at 9, 8 Central, here on Fox. Green Bay 3, San Francisco nothing. Pat Summerall with John Madden.
You know, Pat, Steve Young is perfect. He's perfect 8 out of 8.
Second and about 6. Young drops. Still perfect. First down, San Francisco to J.J. Stokes.
Yeah, we talked about the script and the 49ers scripted and Green Bay going to script. You can look here in their first 15 plays, and that's what their script is. The 49ers had 6 runs and 9 passes. And then you look, okay, now what was Fritz Shurmur going to do? He had 13 4-3s, and he had 1 base and he had 1 nickel. He had 2 3-3 nickel dimes, you know, that he just started. So really, he just was kind of answering their script.
Young deep for Stokes. Got it. Tyrone Williams was the cover man, but Stokes took a strike from Steve Young.
And Steve Young is still perfect. We said Steve Young has to have a big day. Here's the isolation out here. Here's Tyrone Williams. And you see J.J. Stokes again being so big. Once he can get by, now he can use that left hand. In fact, he used that left hand 3 times. 1 to get by, 1 to push off the first time, 1 to push off the second time, and then after he pushed off that second time, he had a step on Tyrone Williams. Partly by his feet, but partly by that left hand too, huh?
And he is so big, as you said. Reverse coming and dropped in the backfield by Owens. Let's see who's got it.
You know, a lot of times those plays are just momentum killers, and you kill yourself trying to trick them when you don't need tricks. You have your quarterback is perfect. Steve Young is perfect. He's what, 10 for 10 or 11 for 11.
10 for 10.
You don't need reverses.
And that's a hard play to run. Owens did scramble around and got it back, but they lost yardage.
This is always a tough thing, you know, because you get a guy taking ball handling who isn't used to it. And he's running, and the quarterback is running one way. The guy running the reverse is running the other way.
Yep.
And again, Terrell Owens is the guy, number 81, who runs the reverse, and he's not used to getting a handoff from a quarterback. And he just puts it out there, and they just bumble that the snap. I mean, he just never does get the handoff.
And they're lucky to get it back.
Yeah, but the 49ers didn't need that play.
That's exactly right. Young to Garrison Hurst. Chase to the sideline, but Hurst out of bounds inside the Packer 30. Brian Williams pushed him out.
Well, he's been big for the 49ers this year. Garrison Hurst just coming back off a broken collarbone. But watch his protection here. You see, it starts off like a draw. They get Reggie White up. Kirk Strafford does, making him think it's a draw. They try and get in the 4-hole, which is inside of Reggie. When Reggie takes that step to the inside, Garrison Hurst just breaks it to the outside. But again, that's a draw play where the offense looks like they're pass protecting. You invite the defensive line to come up the field in a pass rush, and then you run right by them.
3rd and 9, 3 wide receivers. And a timeout, San Francisco. 3-0, Green Bay leads.
This quarter is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
63 floors up. 0 strings attached. 2 skeptics. 3 gripping moments. 1 broken law of gravity. And 10 inches too far. Equals 1 new height. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Winter's here, and it's time to ask yourself, does your battery have the juice to get you started when you really need it? Do your tires have the traction you need for slippery situations? Only Canadian Tire offers MotoMaster batteries and tires to get you going in any situation. All at the everyday low prices you'd expect from Canada's automotive store. Canadian Tire. Everyday low prices made better.
Do you like legs? Good. Because right now at Red Lobster, a pound of hot, steaming snow crab legs is just $11.99. Hot legs for a very hot price. So walk, run, or crawl to Red Lobster Canada.
I love you, honey.
Cable Cars of San Francisco on a slippery day. 3-0. Green Bay leads San Francisco. The 49ers at the Packer 28.
Green Bay's in that 3-3 dime pad. Here's where Seth Joyner most of the time will become a pass rusher.
Blitz came off the corner. The pass is intercepted by Eugene Robinson. Young's first miss, and Robinson's got some room. Eugene Robinson still on his feet. Out of bounds at the San Francisco 28 by Chris Doman.
Eugene Robinson just ran out of gas down there. But again, they start with that 3-3 dime that we talked about. That means that they have 3 defensive linemen, and then they're going to have their 6 defensive backs. And you see that they have the whole thing covered. So they have 2 safeties back here. So they instead of blitzing, they kind of fake the blitz and they stop. And you see Steve Young throw the ball, and Eugene Robinson, he got a jump on it because he knew that he had a defender behind him. Now watch Robinson. He grabs Brent Jones a little there and then jumps in front of him.
And just ran out of gas at the end of the run, as you said. First down, Green Bay at the San Francisco 28. Levens. And Levens gets only a yard.
You know, and Steve Young was almost, well, he was perfect up until that point. And then we go back to what are the problems that the 49ers have had with the Green Bay Packers over the years, and it's been turnovers.
Well, they almost had a turnover on that reverse to Owens earlier. And then Robinson made the play, covering Brent Jones.
And that's the thing Steve Young was talking about. He said when we move the ball, we have to get 7s, not 3s, but even worse than 3s is nones.
Favre looks inside, hits Freeman. Antonio Freeman puts the Packers ahead further.
You talk about big receivers, and what Antonio Freeman did is he just got inside of Marquez Pope, and that's that slant pattern. And he beat Marquez Pope. That wasn't something he did down the field. He did it right off the line of scrimmage.
You're exactly right. He has come up with some big plays, and here's another.
And you're going to see there's Marquez Pope. See, right at that point, he's beaten right now. He has him. Marquez Pope goes for a strip. Then there's a couple of poor tacklings, a couple of poor angles. But Marquez Pope was beaten right at the line of scrimmage.
10-0 Green Bay. Longwell's extra point is good. Favre, 20th career postseason touchdown pass to Antonio Freeman.
Pack the price list? Thanks. I got it. 10 copies of our proposal, extra brochures, video. I got them. DS-27. All packed. I sure hope we get the contract. We've really put a lot into this.
I'll say. Really big shipment? Put your faith in FedEx. It's the way the world works.
So, how are we feeling?
Fine.
Is it gone? What? The diarrhea. How's the diarrhea?
Hey, come on. Have some respect.
Did you take the Imodium?
Yeah, I took it.
And?
And touchdown.
New Imodium Quick Dissolve. Dissolves on your tongue in seconds and without water. For relief, often with one dose.
So you're sure you're relieved?
I'm relieved, okay?
Yeah, so am I.
Closed captioning of NFL football is brought to you by Valvoline Canada. Valvoline is tested on the track for superior performance in your vehicle. People who know use Valvoline.
Yeah, we talked about Marquez Pope. He's right here. He's going to miss inside, but then watch Merton Hanks. He takes a bad angle, and then Rod Woodson comes over and takes a bad angle. So the first part is right there. See, he gets inside. Now watch Merton Hanks. Bad angle. Now watch Rod Woodson. That was a whiff. So part of it was right off the bat. It was Marquez Pope. Then it was Merton Hanks. Then it was Rod Woodson.
Longwell's bouncing kick. Fielded by one of the wedge blockers, Frank Pollock.
Then I watched Marquez Pope, Pat. That was after he had missed that, and then he went for the strip and missed that. Marquez Pope, that's his reaction, because he knows that play cost him a touchdown. Then you look at the winner, how he reacts.
It's raining.
I'll tell you, he made a pretty good run. I mean,
yes, he did.
Antonio Freeman, by getting inside of Marquez Pope, was good, and then by running right by Hanks and Woodson, that was pretty good running, and it was kind of poor angles and tackling too.
Young back to throw it. Lofts it outside to a wide open Garrison Hurst, and Hurst gets across midfield and into Packer territory.
It was interesting, that last play was a first down nickel. But you look at this, Pat, in the last 2+, including this game, postseason meetings, Green Bay has scored 31 points off of 10 San Francisco 49ers turnovers, and that's what that one there was, where Robinson intercepted it and then went down and scored.
Just under 11 minutes left in the first half as Young again gets to Hurst, and the Packers are there in a hurry, led by Gilbert Brown.
Yep, the old gravedigger, he gives the old shovel move. Gilbert Brown makes a play again. We know that you're not going to run at him. Watch Gilbert Brown here. Now here's a pretty good matchup with Gogan, because he weighs about 330. Gilbert Brown's about 370. Gogan tries to cut him or get at that ankle and doesn't get it. Now if you don't get Gilbert Brown and he's free, he's going to make a play in there.
2nd and 13. Young to throw. Pump fake. Incomplete. Intended for Stokes. Blind play by Tyrone Williams. He didn't see the ball coming.
No. Tyrone Williams is up there on J.J. Stokes, and you see him. He gets his hands on him right there. Now when the ball's in the air, you can't touch him, and I don't know that there was anything wrong with that. I mean, there is some contact, but he's going back to look for the ball, and in doing so, he brings that left arm around and hits J.J. Stokes' shoulder. But they have to let him play. I mean, they have to let that stuff go. That one there.
3rd and 13. Young to throw it. Ball bounces up in the air, almost caught by Owens after it bounced up into the air.
And the Packers were in that 3-3 dime again, Pat. That's one of the things that Fritz Shurmur really likes. And, he played the 49ers on this series. He played them nickel on first down, and then he played them dime on the passing down. Nickel being 5 defensive backs, dime being 6 defensive backs. So he's given them a lot of different looks with a lot of different defensive back packages.
49 punter Tommy Thompson not having his strongest day, averaging 28.5 yards. This one's better. Brooks watches it bounce, and it's going to roll dead about the 11, about the 13-yard line is where they'll finally down it. Sometimes you just can't quite get there.
Tonight, I leapt over the boards, and suddenly, it all became clear. Now, I will keep my head up. I won't dump. I won't chase. I will lead the rush. I won't retaliate. I will instigate. I will look to the 5-hole, and I will go upstairs. Next.
Contestants, are you ready to take the challenge? All season long, Proline players will compete to shoot for loot. You could win seats in the Reds at a Leafs home game, a chance at up to $1,000 in an on-ice shootout, plus chances to win Maple Leaf merchandise and a trip to a playoff game. Come on, take the challenge. Bet on Proline and have your ticket on hand. Use this number to enter. Call anytime to shoot for loot from Proline.
Man, just let me finish my Mars bar.
Take your time. Time's up.
You know, racing for interstate means my battery has enough power to run my car, as well as some other race necessities. Heck, I even had a big screen put in for my friends.
The NFC Championship game, Green Bay 10, San Francisco nothing. The winner will play Denver in the Super Bowl. Passes out to Henderson. Henderson gets outside the 20. Our Aflac question this week in this championship game, championship question. Mike Holmgren is the second coach in NFL history to win at least one playoff game in 5 straight seasons. Now, who was the first? Mike Holmgren's the second. And what a coach he is. 2nd and 3. '49ers crowding the line of scrimmage. This is Levens. Levens hammers for a first down outside the 25. And here's the Aflac trivia question again. Mike Holmgren, the second coach in NFL history to win at least one playoff game in 5 straight seasons. And who would have thought? The first one to do it was John Madden.
I didn't even know that. I didn't.
I didn't either.
I didn't see that Aflac trivia question, but I'll tell you, Mike Holmgren has done a heck of a job.
Really
I mean, and he's done a job at every level. I mean, he's a high school coach here in this area, and assistant in college, assistant and offensive coordinator of the 49ers, and head coach of the Green Bay Packers.
Favre to Freeman, who made the catch. He had to come back a little bit. Rod Woodson, the cover man. And Freeman has turned into one big play receiver.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, one of the most improved players on the Green Bay Packer team. They've had stars. You know, I mean, Brett Favre is a star, and Dorsey Levens is kind of turning into one, and Mark Chimere, Robert Brooks is coming off an injury. But I think after Brett Favre, Antonio Freeman could be their next biggest star on this team.
Levens. Not much.
Chimura has someone on his foot there. He can't get his foot out. He tried to go back to the huddle, and there was someone on his foot, and then he just decided to stand there until the pile got off.
That's the best thing to do. Don't fight it.
I think Green Bay is kind of trying to show that the weather doesn't bother him. Watch Chimura right here. You see? You see? He gets caught there in the foot there. He starts to pull it out. Then after a while, he just gives up. That's the way you don't pull anything. You start jerking things, and then pretty soon you'll pull a ligament or a muscle or something.
Levens got a first down, 1st and 10. Favre will throw it on first down. The pass is caught again. This is Antonio Freeman. Freeman crosses the 49er 35 before he is finally taken down by Woodson.
Yeah, we saw him do it to Marquez Pope on the other side for a touchdown, this time to Rod Woodson. And when you get up there in jam coverage, when you get up there where you're going to jam him, if you're here and you're Rod Woodson like that, you better get him a jam, because if you miss him, he's going to get inside and Brett Favre is going to get the ball to him. You see, if you're going to get up there, you better get the jam. When you miss the jam, Brett Favre is going to see it and hit you right on stride.
And he's going to get the ball there in a hurry. Hand off to Levens. Dorsey Levens bangs to the outside and gets close to the 49er 20, a first down.
You know, this was something that we're seeing here, Pat, and as I saw it right in the first series, that the Green Bay Packer offense is getting off first. And you just see everyone is getting off, and they're beating the 49ers to the punch. They started on their first drive, and they've been doing it on every drive. That they're just a half a beat quicker on offense than the 49ers are on defense. They're taking it to them on the pass protection, on the pass patterns, and on the run blocking.
And Levens, as has been said many times, gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on.
Yeah, if you don't like him now, just wait a little while.
Favre drops to throw it. Maybe. Back across the field to Levens. Only Brett Favre can do that. Out of bounds inside the 10, and the Packers will have it.
But look at Brett Favre's jersey, Pat. He's clean. I mean, he has pass protection. Part of that is that he can make those moves, but part of it is there's no one there. I mean, he's back there now. He has time, and he'll look and look and look and move and move and move. That's way too much time to get Brett Favre. If you give him that much time in or out of the pocket, he's going to kill you.
He didn't quite get to the 10-yard line.
Watch this. You see the 3-on-2. If they're going to get pressure, they have to get pressure up the middle. And I'll tell you, Frank Winters, Aaron Taylor, and Adam Timmerman did a great job on that pass protection.
They can make a first without scoring. That's Dorsey Levens, and he's going to be taken down for no gain by Roy Barker.
Roy Barker's an interesting guy. You see, sometimes he doesn't even get down in a three-point stance. On that play before, he just stayed up there in a two-point stance, and he gives them a little pass rush, but really gives them strength with a running game at the point of attack. And sometimes they'll bring in Kevin Green to get a rush from that position, but he gives them a 290-pound defensive end that gives you a point on that left side.
They can make a first down without scoring. 2nd and 10.
Oh, that's Earl Dotson.
Earl Dotson moved early.
That's that snap count. You know, one thing that Brett Favre likes to do is go snap count.
Ball start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
You know, he'll go quick count. Here's what I was talking about Roy Barker. You see him, he's a defensive end up in a two-point stance, and it was Roy Barker that made Earl Dotson move. He started to take a step, and he can do that. The defense can do that as long as they don't get in the neutral zone.
First Green Bay penalty, and this is their timeout. They have one left.
Promotional consideration provided by Tensor. Go for the gold with Tensor, official supplier to the Canadian national hockey team.
One self-made individual. First-hand knowledge. 14 fractures. 3 gut checks. 0 room for error. 1 ultimate stunt. Equals 1 unsung hero. For all you do, this bud's for you.
We asked people what they thought would best help them through the icy grip of winter. Chicken.
Chicken. Soup.
So Swiss Chalet's got a quarter chicken dinner with your choice of home-style chalet chicken soup or chicken and corn chowder. It's our winter warm-up, just $7.25. How's that sound?
Hot, steamy.
Come out to Swiss Chalet for the winter warm-up. After all, it's not good to stay cooped up too long.
Once upon a time, there was this guy named Mike Torello, a police lieutenant. Decent guy, close to normal. He'd take in a ball game, hang out with the guys. Don't move. Take out a lady. He's just got one small problem, if you can call it that. He doesn't take any garbage from anybody. Stupid. You mess with him, and he's on you like your worst nightmare.
Crime Story, Fridays at 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific on Prime, Canada's superstation.
The NFC Championship game at 3Com Park. Packers leading the San Francisco 49ers 10-0. Second and 15. Green Bay at the San Francisco 16. Favre, blitz coming, and Favre just gets rid of it. They didn't pick it up.
Yeah, that was Tim McDonald again. Remember the last time Tim McDonald started to sneak up there. Here's Tim McDonald. He started to sneak up there. Brett Favre called a timeout. This time Tim McDonald times it perfectly. You see what happens? They're trying to run a screen pass to that right, so the line are pulling out, but Brett Favre has to watch. He has to wait. That's what it looks like to Brett Favre. He knows that he has a screen pass developing to his right, but he also knows that 46 is breathing down his neck.
3rd and 15. Blitz again. Favre throws it away again. Bryant Young up the middle with Kevin Green.
And that's going to be a penalty because Brett Favre was in the pocket there. If he gets outside of where the tight end would normally line up, he can throw it away. If he's not outside that area, he can't throw it away. Dick Hantak is the referee. Brett Favre is arguing that there was a receiver.
Offense number 4.
That might have just taken him out of field goal range.
See, now if he is in this area here, in this pocket area, he cannot intentionally ground the ball. If he gets outside of that area, then he could intentionally ground the ball. But you watch where he is. You see, he's going to be inside that tight end area. So he's getting the pressure right there. Bryant Young is in the middle. Kevin Green is there. He throws it out to the right side, and there's no receiver there.
Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre do not agree. Dick Hantak.
Maybe Brett Favre did talk one of those officials into saying that there was a receiver out there.
Maybe so.
Because that is also automatic loss of down.
And as I said, that might have just taken him out of field goal range. With the wind like it is today and the ball wet.
Well, it would be right here from the 30. It's a 47-yard field goal. This is Derek Mays out there working on Tyrone Drakeford. You know, he slides and falls down, but again, that was a screen play. I mean, he had no time at all.
47 yards away. That's not going to get there. Wide right. The 49er crowd proud of the defense.
Well, of course, the 49ers being down 10-0, they haven't had a lot to cheer about today. There's Steve Mariucci. He doesn't need a lot of officiating out there.
He had an early call, didn't he?
Mike Holmgren is still complaining about that. I think he's complaining about Tyrone Drakeford holding Derek Mays. I think he's also complaining that there was a receiver out there when Brett Favre threw that ball.
He's on the competition committee, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's like those. He's probably telling the officials about it. The officials already know about it, but you know, they're an all-star crew. This isn't a crew that works together. They're graded and then put in these positions.
Steve Young fires. Flag on the play in the middle of the field. Young's pass went out of bounds. But a flag right at midfield.
Brent Jones is amazing that he's playing today, Pat.
He is, really. I saw him Friday when we both saw him at practice Friday.
Yeah, he injured his calf, couldn't walk.
Defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Yeah, and he was sure that he wouldn't be able to play today, and he went down to see Dr. Dillingham, and he gave him a shot, and then he didn't practice yesterday, and there was a holding right there on Brent Jones.
Inside handoff, and this is William Floyd. Right now for highlights from today's AFC Championship game, let's go down to James Brown for McDonald's game break.
All right, Pat, John Elway is hungry to close out his career with the Super Bowl victory. It happens because of this as he hooks up with Ed McCaffrey with time winding down in the first half. Denver beats Pittsburgh at 3 Rivers. The Broncos head to the Super Bowl. Back to Pat and John.
And the winner of this game will play Denver. 2nd and 7. Young back to throw, gets it down the middle. Pass is caught by Brent Jones. And he was so distraught after Friday's practice. He said, Mike, what a way to end my career.
Yeah, because he's announced his retirement. This is going to be his last year. He gets hurt on a Friday practice. They take him off in a cart. And he didn't think that he'd be able to play today. But, you know, if you just know Brent Jones, he's done so many things like that. I mean, this year he's had a broken leg and he's come back and played with it. He played with a broken wrist. He's had a concussion. Now he has this calf thing. He is one tough guy.
Who doesn't look tough. They faked that reverse again. And they have Floyd. And William Floyd goes out of bounds, covered by George Kuntz.
There is a flag on the play, too.
Yep. Going to be holding against the 49ers.
And whatever they do, they're just shooting himself in the foot. Every time they get down there, something happens.
Holding. Offense. Number 66. 5-yard penalty.
Kevin Gogan.
Yeah, here's Kevin Gogan right here. And you just watch his right arm. You see him grab him. He grabs Seth Joyner right there. That's what they saw. I don't know about that, but I always taught my guys that if you're playing against someone with white jerseys, don't wear dark gloves or tape because they're going to see it on that white jersey. Now, look at Kevin Gogan. You see that dark part? That's the part they saw. You should have all white against a white jersey.
You were even looking to deceive him, right? Intended for Brent Jones. He got a hand on it, but was hit in the back hard.
I was just looking for my fair advantage, but I thought, you know, don't give those officials any fair advantages. Watch Brent Jones here. I mean, he gets the biggest hits I think that I've ever seen against a guy. I mean, he had
a tough guy.
Yeah, I mean, he had one last week where, in fact, it was the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Where he got knocked heels over head.
Or vice versa.
What? His head was down, his heels were up.
Young comes out of the pocket, scrambles out. Flag on the play. Young's going to take off. Steve Young down the sideline, slides at the 40, but the penalty marker's way back. Santana Dotson still standing back there. It's going to be against San Francisco.
And they were just getting going, and the crowd was getting into the game. The Packers had missed a field goal. The 49ers started moving the ball. Then a holding penalty. Then boom, another holding penalty. Lucky Steve Mariucci's a young guy.
Holding. Offense.
How long do you think that'll last? Him being a young guy.
Behind the line of scrimmage. The end of the play was beyond. We will enforce from the previous spot. 10 yards. Third down. Replay the down. Second down.
The first one was Kevin Gogan holding. That one was Terry Kirby holding.
If anything, it's raining a little bit harder now. I would think that'll make it more difficult for San Francisco to come from behind.
You know, Brett Favre brought up an interesting thing about the way Steve Young passes a ball, that he puts the ball in the palm of his hand, and he can be a good bad weather passer.
Three-man rush. The pass is caught, juggled, but caught by Owezike. And that'll be the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Green Bay 10, San Francisco nothing.
Walk away!
A simple plan.
We just want the money!
An instant fortune.
You took the money, didn't you? Yeah, I hid it in the cemetery.
What the hell is that? Just.
That's very bad.
And water.
Dam's gone. You gotta go. What do we do now?
Just drive around until we run out of gas.
Starts Friday, January 16th in theaters everywhere.
Seems like everyone's using their lunch hour to stay in shape. But if you really want to make it pay off, you gotta eat something nutritious. Use your lunch hour wisely. At Subway, you can get a freshly made sandwich under 6 grams of fat, made the way you want, on fresh baked bread. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
Gotta cramp. Walk it off. Hey, Helen, how you doing?
This quarter was brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
They're cleaning the windows for the halftime group. JB and Howie and Terry and Ronnie all getting ready for the Dockers Khakis halftime report. First half analysis, highlights of the AFC Championship game, which was a dandy. Chuck Levy was in the lineup for the 49ers. The pass, Owens off his kneecaps. Terrell Owens.
And Tyrone Williams was on him. They were in that 3-3 dime we talked about. Here's Terrell Owens right there. There's Tyrone Williams. He gives him a little move, gets beyond him, and Steve Young makes a perfect throw.
What a good throw that was.
And now Steve Young and the 49ers have to think that they have to get the ball in the end zone because they were down there in the 28.
Yep.
Remember, and he threw a interception. Floyd caught the ball to the 22, and they had the penalties. Now this is the third time they've been down there.
Right at the 10-yard line. First and goal. Young drops. Stokes is out of bounds. Made the catch, but couldn't get them both down.
These guys are making some catches for Steve Young. J.J. Stokes and Terrell Owens. Watch Stokes here again. Again, you have to catch the ball and have both feet in bounds. There's the left. Now does the right foot come down? No, the right foot was out.
Crowd boos.
Yeah, well, Steve Young is looking at it on the big screen here too. Everyone reacts. You know, it's not just the receivers and the quarterback. This is how the big old guards in there react that have to block Gilbert Brown.
Ray Brown. Here's Young back to throw again. Fires, batted back. And deflected.
That was deflected by Gabe Wilkins. You know, as of yesterday, they weren't even sure that Gabe Wilkins was going to be able to play. But watch Gabe Wilkins. He's right here. He gets a little push right there and then gets as far as you can and then get your hands up.
That's what they teach you.
Yep, that's exactly what they teach you. You know, not only now wait and time that thing and get up, and what you do is you take a passing lane away from them.
Third and goal at the 10. Brent Jones and Owens go left. Stokes is out to the right.
Steve Young was saying yesterday, we get down here, we have to get sevens, not threes.
Steve Young out to Garrison Hurst, who dropped it. He was at the 6. Couldn't hang on.
I don't know what kind of play that would have been anyway, because that wouldn't have given him a touchdown, nor would have given a first down. So he must not have had anything else, because to throw that out there, you have to believe that they're going to miss a bunch of tackles. And I think that even had they completed that ball, they still would have had to have kicked this field goal.
Anderson, Gary Anderson with Thompson holding. Anderson is good, and he puts the 49ers on the scoreboard. It's 10-3, Green Bay.
It's time to change the meaning of Taiwan On. Support Project Red Ribbon. Support safe, sober driving.
Da da da. Da da da. Da da da.
Is that this theme song for the All Madden team this year?
Yeah, and what we do is we just roll down the road going da 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 da. And then we pick up guys. And then we just pick them up, we put them on, and let them do whatever they want to do.
That's how you don't get bored on the bus.
Yeah, I just have them coming and going. Wherever we go, we'll pick up someone. Like there goes Brent Jones into the locker room, and you know, this is 1998 medication.
Yep.
And, 1998 medication will do wonders.
He was almost in tears Friday.
And I think he was in tears as much for the disappointment of, ending a career by having to stand on the sideline and not even being able to compete in the game.
Been a great career for him. Signed as a free agent, drafted by Pittsburgh. 12 years.
Went locally to school here at the University of Santa Clara from San Jose. So he's doing all this thing in a local area.
That's Antonio Freeman returning the kickoff. And he gets out to about the 27-28. One of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California, has been providing these aerial pictures. A little tough to see today. For a look inside the Goodyear Blimp and how it maneuvers, try its website, www.goodyear.com.
What, you would do a website to see what the blimp's doing?
I think that's the only way you can find it.
Where's the camera anyway? Is that right there?
Yeah.
That's a camera, huh?
Yeah.
So it's not even up in the blimp. The camera's under the blimp.
Favre gives to Levens. Levens just keeps pounding away to 35.
That's that old counter tray, and these guys are really good in the last 2 minutes. If you look at the last 2 minutes of the first half, they've scored 7 touchdowns and 6 field goals.
They have 1 timeout left.
And I mean, so much of that is Brett Favre. I mean, that he's not only such a strong-armed quarterback, but he's very daring. I mean, he's going to go out there and he's going to challenge it. And he's not ready just to let a clock roll out.
They got Tyrone Davis in the game, and here's Favre to challenge. Going deep to Freeman, who makes catch. There's a flag on the play. Freeman gets to his feet. Antonio Freeman between 2 49er defenders, but flags on the play.
And that's Brett Favre, and it's going to be against the 49ers. The clock is running down. A lot of guys, they'll take a knee, they'll run the fullback in, they'll do something. Not Brett Favre. Like I said, it's the end. He's going to challenge it. It doesn't make any difference what the situation, he'll challenge
Defense, number 23, penalty decline, completed pass.
Call against Marquez Pope. First down, Packers. Timeout, Packers.
Yeah, I think with 3 seconds, I think what they have to do is they're going to have to kick a field goal here, try a field goal.
Longwell's out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, they could they're only going to get 1 more play, so if they don't take the field goal, then they would have to let Brett Favre try and throw one into the end zone.
Don't forget to stay with us at the half. The Dockers Khakis halftime report coming up. JB and the group on the scene.
It's always tough to, the crowd. They always try and get the crowd in. They say this, here in San Francisco, the crowd's not loud. But plays like that will always quiet a crowd. That the home team has to give the crowd something to yell about them. And they can't be yelling when the pass is in there. Now they can yell, don't make the field goal.
This one's going to be from 43 yards out by Longwell. That one's going to get there. And that one's good. With 3 seconds to go, the Packers add 3. That's the end of the first half with the score. Green Bay 13, San Francisco 3. The NFC Championship on Fox will continue with the Dockers Khakis halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Over 30% of Canadians are in underachieving mutual funds. So how can you tell the leaders from the followers? The Scotia Leaders Program. It's a portfolio of 5 leading mutual funds from companies like Trimark, Templeton, and AGF.
Hello. Hi. You, got some mail.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's my quarterly report.
Oh, really? You gonna open that, or?
Let's get dinner. The kids will be here in a half hour.
They're constantly monitored. Underachievers are replaced. So you have the confidence of always knowing you're in the leading funds.
Yeah, I told you got mail, right?
Yes.
You know what? You could open this, like, right now. It's already started. Look at that.
Invest in peace of mind with the Scotia Leaders Program. Find out if it's right for you. Call 1-800-528-3211.
Yeah, are you gonna open it, or?
GMC Sierra owners don't work on weekends. They practice. Vortec-powered Sierra, 365 days a year.
You've never seen anything like it, and it's headed for Canadian Tire. More selection, more parts for more makes and models of cars and light trucks, more quality brand names like Certified Brakes, Monroe Shocks, and TRW suspension parts. So now, you'll get the right parts when you need them at guaranteed low prices. Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
Drink milk, love life, fresh and cold. Make more of your energy. Drink milk, love life, do all you do. Living with vitality. Drink milk, love life, drink milk, love life. Drink milk, love life, drink milk. Drink milk, love life, drink milk, love life. Drink milk, love life, drink milk.
Khakis Halftime, brought to you by Dockers Khakis, the secret reason for the NFC's Super Bowl streak. Hey, nice pants.
San Francisco was hoping to make it a much closer halftime score on this slant and out by J.J. Stokes, but pushed out of bounds by Tyrone Williams with only 1 foot in bounds. San Francisco had to settle for the field goal and trail at the half 13-3 as we welcome you back to halftime here, keeping in mind that the team trailing at halftime has lost 20 out of 21 NFC Championship games. We got a full house here. Terry, you made the point about passing being big, even in bad weather. We're going to talk about that. Ronnie, Steve Young looked good, but it was a turnover that hurt them in the first half.
That's right, JB. That was a problem there. And I think what you have to say is about that Green Bay secondary. They've been playing great. They've also been able to come up with turnovers. You'll see right here, Steve Young had complete all his passes, but he goes to Brent Jones. No, Eugene Robinson steps in front, is able to move up the field with the ball. That's what you have to have happen. Now, on the other hand, and you look at Brett Favre, the secondary, Marcus Pope makes a big mistake there. Going for it, you got to make the tackle. And Merton Hanks, you got to hit him. You're the free safety right here on the nose, baby.
Yeah, I think the big difference in this game right now is familiarity. Fritz Shermer has done an outstanding job of mixing up his defenses. 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts, gone with the 3-man fronts there. We're going to keep our 8 defenders back, play the pass. It's hard to get off on this kind of field as a defensive lineman. 49ers have not generated much of a pass rush. It's hard to combat double moves as a cornerback, especially on this type of football field. Steve Young comes into this game, 8 interceptions, 2 touchdown passes versus the Green Bay Packers. They have to find a way to get to Brett Favre, like Bryant Young did on that play where Brett Favre was called for intentional grounding. They could very well be down 20-3 right now. They're fortunate to be down by this score.
Hey, listen, I told you right at the top of the show, these kind of field conditions and this kind of game as a quarterback with great receivers, both teams have thrown the football. So far, these two quarterbacks combined for 24 of 37. Look at this. Corner has to stay off. Easy catch. Now Young back, firing down. There you see a deep pass on Tyrone Williams. Why? Defenses have to sit back, and then after the play is executed, they react to it. 24 of 37 combined, these two quarterbacks, for 359 yards. 7 passes over 40 yards already attempted. And folks, we got a second half. It's going to get better than this. Yeah, this is good. It's going to get better.
Well, let me tell you also that was good today, the AFC title game today. John Elway got 139 yards on the ground by Terrell Davis to help power the Denver Broncos into the Super Bowl. John Elway certainly helped the cause as well, throwing 2 touchdown tosses.
Excellent job at the goal line. Expect man-to-man coverage, inside technique by the corner. McCaffrey outside. The rocket arm of Elway, touchdown. And there you have it. Now we come back with Stewart. Three interceptions on the day, 1 fumble, 4 turnovers by himself. But a great effort here out of the backfield. This 21-yard touchdown to Charles Johnson, 24-21. Denver goes to the Super Bowl. Mike Shanahan, outstanding coaching job. And, of course, John Elway gets the opportunity now to see if he can get that ring that everybody in America hopes that he does.
And all of the Broncos had as a key focus to try to get John Elway, who's enjoyed a storied career, back to the Super Bowl. That's exactly what they did.
There's no doubt, this team deserved this. I just wanted to get number 7 one more chance at it, and I know at him at the hand, I feel very good about this.
I'm not happy about getting back there. I want to win it. I mean, I've been there before, so, I mean, I've never had a chance to win one. So, I mean, that's going to be the focus, and I'm thrilled to death to win the AFC, and I'm thrilled to death that we have a chance to be world champs, and that's all we really ever asked for.
Denver now the 5th wild card team ever to make it to the Super Bowl. Ronnie, second half here, what should we look for?
On the second half, the 49ers right now, they cannot panic. You're only down 10 points. Hang in there. Be patient. You'll come up with the big play, Howie. I think they can get it done.
Yeah, they have to be more diversified. 9 rushes, 15 yards. They have to find a way to get to Brett Favre, whether it's through the pass rush with the 4-man front or bring some timely blitzes.
Defense of the 49ers, 16 touchdowns in 12 games they gave up. In the last 5 games of the season, counting the playoff, they have given up 18 touchdowns. This is not the defense that's going to win a championship today for them.
All right, the rain's starting to fall steadily here as we get set for the second half of this NFC Championship between the Packers and Niners. Pat Summerall and John Madden will join you on the other side of this commercial.
So, what are you doing today?
Can't say.
Well, where are you going?
Can't say.
If I hear that one more time, I'm going to explode. So what do those Golden Grahams taste like anyway?
Can't say.
Golden Grahams, indescribably different.
Unbelievably good!
Now you can instantly win one of 9 custom-designed snowboards or one of 1,000 pairs of cool sunglasses. See specially marked boxes of Golden Grahams for details. No purchase necessary.
Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each cloud contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade them for a package of sunshine and flowers. So when you hear it,
it's money. Your money. Money that comes from having a plan that keeps you in step. TD, we're here to help make it easier.
Caller 42, you got Santa.
Yeah, I asked for a new rug, and I got a toupee. That's not very funny.
What? I thought it was thoughtful.
It's the final week of Leon's Boxing Day sale with store-wide savings on what you really wanted for Christmas. It's the biggest event of the year with everything to gain and nothing to pay till $19.99.
And maybe next year Santa will bring you a nose hair trimmer.
Hurry in. Leon's Boxing Day sale ends this weekend.
Welcome back to San Francisco, where the score is Green Bay 13, the 49ers 3. And this first half highlight is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT. Antonio Freeman, who has 4 catches for 107 yards. This one from Brett Favre, and poor tackling by the 49ers secondary. Freeman for Green Bay's only touchdown. John Madden, I'll be back for the second half after these messages from your local Fox station.
I will not accept anything less than a perfect quad twisting triple.
I will not accept anything less than 80 miles per hour. I will not accept anything less than a shutout.
I will not accept anything less than 1 minute 17 seconds.
I will not accept any card but Visa.
At the 1998 Olympic Winter Games, only the best is accepted. Visa, worldwide partner of the Nagano Games. Visa, all you need.
Do you like legs? Good. Because right now at Red Lobster, a pound of hot, steaming snow crab legs is just $11.99. for a very hot price. So walk, run, or crawl to Red Lobster Canada.
I love you, honey.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing up?
Reliving your mother's stuffed peppers.
Heartburn again, eh? Look, Dad, just take a Pepcid AC. One small pill gives you fast relief.
Fast?
Yeah, and if you take one before dinner, Pepcid AC can even stop heartburn before it starts.
Before it starts?
Hey, you don't see me suffering, do you?
Hey, what are you guys doing now?
Nothing. We were talking about your peppers.
Your peppers, yeah.
Oh, I got some in the fridge. You can be heartburn-free with Pepcid AC.
Global's got the Thursday hits. We're talking serious comedy. Then, on an all-new Traitors.
Anne, can you hear me? You're in Weatherly Hospital. You've suffered a heroin overdose.
Haven't seen Anne today, have you?
She's in the hospital.
What happened?
She took an overdose.
Oh, my God.
Anne's hurt?
A powerful new Traitors at 10. Part of Global's Great Thursday. Brought to you by the Cooperators. A better place for you.
We're in Business takes an informative look at entrepreneurs across Canada. Saturday, 5 Eastern Time on Prime, Canada's Superstation.
(13-3) as both teams have returned from their halftime lectures from the coaching staff. And let's look at first half statistics, John.
You know, if you look at them and you say, why is San Francisco behind? I look at two things right here. Rush yards. They haven't been able to run the ball. I mean, when you only run the ball for 15 yards, that's not good enough for the half. And then the other thing is the old turnover. They've had one turnover that led to 7 of Green Bay points. So you look at those two things because they've been able to pass the ball. They've had the time of possession. They've had those all those other things. But the two areas that kind of stand out here are not being able to run the ball, and then, of course, that one turnover.
And that's the two things that they really wanted to do and wanted to correct.
You know, and both these teams talked about how they were going to throw the ball to the wide receivers. And you can see Green Bay, 6 to the wide receivers, 1 to the tight end, 3 to the running backs. And
this Antonio Freeman's touchdown.
Yeah, and he does it on both sides. And, you know, we just talk about how if they're going to press him, he beats the corner right on the line of scrimmage. See, that's where he wins that battle. And that timing between he and Brett Favre is so good that if he wins the battle quickly, then some big things can happen at the other end.
A heck of a catch there that set up the field goal right at the half. Look at San Francisco.
That was coming off a choke, that last one. But again, they're doing the same thing, throwing to the wide receivers. 9 to the wide receivers, 2 to the tight ends, 3 to the running backs. Both these teams feel that they can work the outsides.
Aaron Hayden will return the kickoff. A short kick it was to the 26th. And right now on the sideline, let's send you down to Ron Pitts.
Thank you very much, Pat. Talked to both coaches coming off at halftime. Steve Mariucci said we got to get back to running the football like we know we can run it. And then the field position bothered him. We want to get ourselves in better field position. He said he's not going to do anything to change up the game plan because of the weather. They're going to stick with it. Mike Holmgren said he's very happy with the way things are going, but he wants to try to put a lot more pressure on Steve Young. Back up to you, Pat.
All right, Ron, thank you. Mike Holmgren certainly had a period there where he wasn't all that happy with the way things were going after that.
Well, yeah, he had that drive and the intentional grounding penalty and the holding on Derek Mays. And
Packers from the 26. Play pass outside to Henderson. Woodall is there quickly, and he is down incomplete as the ruling.
Boy, and he was there quickly, Pat. They read, Lee Woodall read that thing all the way. They're going to try and get William Henderson out here in the flat quickly. But watch Woodall. He's coming just as quickly, and he really lowers the boom. I don't know that that's not a fumble. The people here are looking and saying, did he have control of it? He did have control, and he turned. That should have been a fumble.
And the 49ers had picked it up.
Yeah, because he did catch that ball, have control, and he fumbled it as he started to turn and was hit by Lee Woodall.
And they're still booing.
Rightly so.
2nd and 10. Levens. A couple. Hit from the outside by Lee Woodall.
Yeah, I think they went in there. No, you know, we talk about the finality and we talk about the urgency. And you know that when you get to this point and you only have one half left, there's only one half of football. Whoever wins this game goes to the Super Bowl and plays the Denver Broncos. A loser doesn't play again until August. There's Woodall. He's coming off the block. He just hangs in there. And I'll tell you, he really does unload when he tackles.
3rd and 9. Favre retreats. Wide open is Derek Mays, and he gets enough for a first down. Tyrone Drakeford, the cover man, but Mays got the first down.
Derek Mays is a 3rd wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, and Mike Holmgren was saying yesterday that we need a big game from him. And again, because he comes in and they want to play a lot of 3 wide receivers. You can see here he is. There's just no one there. He just runs a little slant and he stops, and it's against the zone. And there's no one in that zone, so Derek Mays just stops there, and Brett Favre hits him with the ball, and then they roll him in the mud a little.
And they get a first down in the process. 1st and 10, Green Bay. Flags fly. Levin stopped.
Flags flew and whistles blew before the ball was snapped. That has to be an offensive penalty.
Offense, number 72, 5 yards, still first down.
Earl Dotson.
Yeah, if the defense jumps, the offense gets a free play. If the offense jumps, they stop the play. Earl Dotson is right up here, the right tackle, number 72, and you see him. And in fact, that's one that you don't need to. When if you're at the point of attack, if the ball's being run at you, then you know that you have to get off. But when the ball's being run away from you, you don't have to jump offside.
1st and 15. Dorsey Levin broke 1 tackle, but Tim McDonald put the finisher on Dorsey Levin.
I'll tell you one thing I can tell about this game in this second half is this 49er defense has come out with a lot more urgency. In the first half, they were getting beaten by that half a step. I mean, the Packers were just getting off first on everything, and they're not so far. That's probably what they talked about.
Very aware of the finality you were talking about. Gary Plummer.
Yeah, you got one more half. You're down 13-3, and you got one more half of football to turn this thing around, or you go home.
2nd and 15. 3 wide receivers for Green Bay. Favre. Wide open is Tyrone Davis, and he gets to midfield and gets the Green Bay first down.
Perfect read by Brett Favre. You know what happens? Norton was out there, and he's on the slot, and he comes on a blitz off the slot. And then so that receiver on that side of the blitz becomes the hot receiver. And you just see he's out here. See, now once Brett Favre sees this coming, he knows that he wants to hit in the area that he's vacated. Now watch the blitz come from there, and boom, he goes right to that area where that defensive guy vacated.
Tyrone Davis made the catch, and the Packers have said almost every week we got some things planned for him. Favre comes out of the pocket, gets away from one, lofts it for Levins, and overthrows.
Brett Favre has something to say to everyone. He talks to defensive linemen, he talks to defensive backs, he talks to linebackers, he talks to coaches. But this is what I like right there. He always has a smile on his face, and I believe that, and and that's why he's one of my real favorites, because if it is a game, it should be played like a game. It should be fun, and if it's fun, you should have a smile every once in a while.
And to him, it is a game,
and it is fun.
And he was talking about playing baseball in the 8th grade, and I'm sure he had the same kind of fun then. That's Dorsey Levin. Gets to about the 46.
Well, he was talking about playing high school baseball in the 8th grade. I don't know how that works, but he said he was better than the other guys. He said he beat out a senior.
So he played.
But I don't know how you can be in grammar school and play on the high school team, but that was down in Kill, Mississippi.
Well, there are not a lot of people in Kill, Mississippi.
Oh, he said the guys used to wear those Levi jackets under their game uniforms, and we didn't even look good.
On 3rd down, Favre retreats. Pass is caught by Levins, who looks like he's about a yard shy of a first down. Ken Norton out with him. This is going to be close.
It's going to be a right foot, left foot deal, and it was a right foot, which means it's short. And it's probably Levins was right there, and he can see that. You see this thing here? That's the marker, so he knows where he had to go. And you can see that they're going to be a couple inches short, and they're going to go to the punt formation.
Hunting team comes on. Craig Hentrick. Levens.
Dorsey Levens is getting it right there, and he's trying to get that ball out beyond that first down marker. And again, it's where the ball is when his knee goes down. That's the spot.
Mike Holmgren asked for a measurement, and they'll give him to him.
And one of the reasons you do that is you just want to get a little extra time to think about this decision.
Foot.
I think he's made his decision to punt, but he just wanted a little more time to think about it. He's satisfied that he's going to stay with that, and I think in a game like this and in this situation, I think that's the right move. You don't want to give the 49ers, because as Ron Pitts was saying, Steve Mariucci talked about field position, and you don't want to give them good field position by going for a 4th down and not getting it here.
Well, you know, on a field like this, on a day like this, they've chosen to punt. Now here comes Favre in the offensive unit.
That's why he measured it to think about it. And I was saying how good the punt was, and then he thought it over, or maybe he got talked out of it. That happens too.
By Brett Favre, I'll bet you.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons you ask for the measurement, is give yourself some more time to think about it. And then this is what he thought about, and he thought about, let's go for it and let's go on this play.
He'll go on a quick count. No, he doesn't. He's giving him a chance to jump.
Hard count.
Hard count.
Trying to get him offsides. They aren't going to run a play.
Long count.
The Packers won't run a play. They're just trying to draw him offside. They'll take the 5-yard penalty and punt.
That's exactly what happened. And now, a flag on the play.
5-yard penalty.
That's a 5-yard penalty for too much.